check, 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 check. Tonight. I was reading some stuff. Taking me an hour to get this. And my other mounted in my house. Driving like that. Give me jams. Limbo. We'll read a story, then we'll discuss the story, stuff and people. I was reading, thinking about Indian Mountain, where a lot of history. There's Cincinnati is called the Seven Hills of Man. So rap. Jeez, I just forgot it. Sound turn. That was a nice introduction to. It's taken me about an hour to get this thing up and running, and but here I am. So I was just saying, you missed all the. I got to hear the sound of the song. That's right. Didn't hear the songs again, but we're gonna look at this article. I was thinking about the mounds. Yeah, mounds in the Mansfield area, actually. Because it used to be the set called the Seven Hills of Rome. After Cincinnati was like the mention of it. Because there were seven mounds, basically. I think I think that they were Indian mounds. This is a case of Mansfield's missing mound, and now I'm not going to say anything until we're done. I'll try not to. This was actually a reprint of something recently, but so this is taking place in 1886, which is in my mind, a very shaky time as far as a lot of loosey gooses was being played with the history there. evidence being the guy Dodd, DOD. And Newman, something Dodd talks about how he was tasked with investigating charitable giving groups by the Senate in the 50s, and so we got the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and who else, some of the big names like that, and got their permission to go through all of their meetings of all the writings of all the minutes. And these were the children of the original. So it's kind of, he probably had, this guy said he probably never read the books, or they clearly wouldn't have let us look at them. And the lady who looked at them went insane and worked again. And so I know that there's some shady stuff. And basically what they came out with was that Rockefeller and Carnegie, who gave us the libraries with the books that they wanted us to have. So anyway, that's my premise. It's a long story, but we're going to start here. Started out innocently enough. In 1886, J.C. Woolley approached Henry Hedges downtown and asked if he could dig a hole in some land Hedges had inherited on the east end of First Street down by the tracks. Promised to put the dirt back. Henry Hedges said he didn't mind. He figured it was an archaeological probe because some people thought that the prominent knoll down by the track might be an Indian mound. Oh, do say. Actually, Woolley wasn't looking for Indian relics or prehistoric bones. He was digging for gold. Of course he was. Gold right down there. Mr. Hedges didn't know. It's like a Hardy Boys story. Mr. Worley did was that the strange tale was circulating through the undercurrents of Mansfield's North End in various bars, saloons, and drinking establishments. This is 1886. There wasn't that many of those. I don't think we had more than 2,000 people here. Maybe slightly more. The story went that some rich guy got paranoid about banks, so he buried his wealth in a couple of pots at a secret place he could easily identify. When the old guy suddenly found himself on his deathbed, the last words he croaked out were a cryptic series of clues as to where the gold. Those closest to inheriting were frantic. I started getting into the character there. Frantic about deciphering the scrambled message, and were all furiously digging around in the yard, in and around and underneath the old man's hedges. That was the one word they all heard quite clearly: hedges. Woolley knew it wasn't a shrub. The old man was pinpointing. The old man. It was the Mansfield's landmark Hedges farm. The Herald. Somehow word leaked out, reached the ears of a nosy reporter from the Mansfield Herald. Those nosy reporters. He strolled out to the Hedges farm to take a look. He found Woolley with a pickaxe swinging away at the knoll by the tracks. Just how the reporter got Woolley to talk about a secret is not in the newspaper. But we have to assume there was some whiskey in the process. Otherwise, Woolley wouldn't have spilled all his plans to a man clearly intent on broadcasting the news. Of Woolley, the reporter wrote, "He talks in a rational manner, not at all like a man who is insane." Talks like that. Woolley even revealed to the writers a treasure map rock that had turned up early in the day. Holy shit. Holy crap. Apparently, the old rich guy had carved a triangle diagram into a chunk of sandstone, delineating just exactly where the fortune was buried. There. Treasure map to me. So maybe. Most people who saw the fabled rock in the subsequent years said it appeared to be a field stone that had been hit repeatedly by a plow, and the scratches were just random etchings without design or intent. The Herald came out Tuesday morning. The news broke that gold was somewhere underfoot in Mansfield environs. There was an instant run on shovels in the downtown hardware store. I wonder if there really was. All of these men buying implements of excavation. How many would they really have to begin with? Like, just stocking shovels around? Hundreds of shovels. As soon as it was full dark that evening, some men could creep in the dark unseen. Yep. There was a great convergence of tree planters on the east end of the First Street. Oops. East end of First Street. No, the railroad tracks. There's millions in it. Mansfield man digging for, that looks official to me. Mansfield man digging for gold. So that's just the original. It's the same stuff. Midnight strategy. The fact that all these Mansfielders showed up late at night had less to do with stealth than you may imagine, and more to do with superstition. It isn't commonly talked about today, but in the decades between 1820 and 1869, before baseball was born, the great American pastime was digging for gold. Money digging, as it was known then, was sort of an art form, often involving conjuring, elemental spirits, dreams, peepstones, seer gifts, and enchanted treasures. Grown men, fully grown men, believed that very treasure was easier to locate under a full moon because it gave off a bluish flame in the moonshine. They believed that they had to outwit invisible guardians who watched the gold. They had to turn around 3 times before picking the treasure up, or else it would disappear. Of course, most believed the treasure digging worked best during the summer months, from midnight to sunrise. That's what most people believed. It was critical importance that diggers maintain strict silence at their labors. It was well known that spirit guardians would trick diggers into muttering profanities by dropping a crowbar on their foot. I do know that to be true. They do that to me, Al. For real. Flattened dreams. There weren't any houses in close proximity to the Hedges Mound in 1886. But if there had been, no one would have heard any suspicious noises that night. All the claim jumping money diggers were required by strict tradition to maintain about silence. That's why nobody heard them. Poor Woolley came back the next morning to work on his dig at the Hedges Knoll to discover it no longer existed. Like one of the magic spells, the mound was gone, completely decimated, shoveled to oblivion, and flattened. This great big Indian mound. Though Woolley had promised to replace all the dirt afterwards, Henry Hedges could hardly hold the man to his promise. So instead, since I have to, I got nothing else to do with it, I'll just sell the land to the Pittsburgh, Fort Wayne, and Chicago Railroad. I don't know, they might need it for something. That was that's a total scam. Switching, yeah, I can't keep it. Because instead Hedges sold the land, and they built a switching yard and roundhouse on a lovely piece of flat property. That's a big deal. That's a lot of money there. So check this. This is my thought. It's 1886. It's not like there's a lot of regulations around, but people were just starting to find Indian mounds all over the country. And whenever one was found, it would slow. They'd have to excavate it and blah blah blah. And the archaeologists would come, and it would take months. It would slow the railroad down for terribly. Any kind of highway or whatever slows down. So they just decided, you know what? We're just gonna take the mound down ourselves and get rid of all the stuff. And because I almost guarantee you that it's filled with artifacts, as we'll see with some of these other articles. Probably, who knows? Maybe even giants, as we'll see in some of these other articles. So back to the story. This is the same. 1886, Mansfield's hysterical money digging spree, like those crazy Mansfielders, greedy, digging for money, destroyed the Hedges Mound. Digging for gold craze was fed by 2 major factors of popular culture. One was a recent publication of our very wide-read novel, Treasure Island, with this tantalizing scene of buried pirate gold and secret maps. The other was a widespread wonder regarding the Book of Mormon, translated from golden plates, which were reportedly discovered underground in a secret cache and hidden generations before at Palmyra, New York, only 850 miles away. In the 1800s, Richland's landscape was virgin land, yet everyone knew by the evidence of Indian mounds that they were not the first people here. Who knows what may be hidden underground? Anything seemed possible. Fine old American art of money. Digging often involved the use of magic stones. Geode above, seen above, might be placed in a hat. The money digger to cover his face. magic stone would help the fortune hunter to see in his mind where the gold was buried. So, remember that. Now, oops, wait, I gotta finish reading it. The Hedges family inherited a great deal of land from the founder of Mansfield, General James Hedges. Like, they just come and put their flag down and say it's mine, give it to you. Like that. The Hedges family inherited a great deal of land. Blah blah blah. The ill-fated mound on Hedges property was located east of the paper mill, south of the railroad. East of the paper road, south of the road. Today's site of so paper mills, sounds of Hyundai, Ideal Electric. Okay, I actually was a security guard there at Ideal Electric, and the mound and the side of the mound is across Oak Street. Wow. Okay, I just got a metal detector too. It's the library of things you can check out. I got it for it, but maybe tomorrow. That's right. So, okay, let's just go over here. Now we're on Google Earth. So, Hedges gonna be this way down here. Some south. Oh, this stupid. This is not working. Let's look to it earlier. This is really difficult. Mouse. Let's go up here. It's kind of fascinating to the city from this. Does a lot of cities look like circuit boards? Some speculation, or it's a long story, but I'll sell you on it tonight. Let's go to this file first. Sorry. So yeah, I got two. Sorry. You have some other here though. Sure. Well, this is it. Slideshow. Well, this is sideways quickly. Okay, I can read it. Okay, skeletons of prehistoric giant warriors under. There's been discovered on a farm near a city a mound containing the skeletons of several prehistoric people. Mr. Felt was plowing in a field when he ran across a large stone that, upon being removed, revealed the cavity of a mound that had long been obliterated. The skeletons lay in all conceivable positions, but gave evidence that the bodies had been those of warriors that had fallen in battle. It is believed that the farm is the elite of an ancient battlefield. The skeletons are unusual size, and the teeth and the skulls are larger than those of ordinary men. The authorities of the Carthage College have received permission to explore the field. Reverend Stephen D. Plebe, a noted antiquarian, has been sent to aid in the investigation. The county is full of these peculiar mounds. You can just look at this while I'm reading. Skeletons of 16 mound builders found at East St. Louis. Human bones believed to have been those of 16 mound builders are found at the 2nd and St. Clair Avenues, East St. Louis. Digging an excavation for a warehouse. One skeleton was walled up in a stone tomb, 8 foot high. A heavy slab of rock was taken from the top. The skeleton, standing upright, could be seen within. It was that of a man apparently 7 feet tall. An effort was made to remove the skeleton intact, but when the stones were removed, it fell to pieces. Buried under 7 feet of earth near the base of this ancient tomb, found the skeletons of 15 men, all above normal height. They were seated in a circle above the tomb where the chieftain had been. Some of the Indian tribes of North and South America have traditions respecting the early settlements of this country by pure white people. This would intimate immigration from the northern part of Europe through Great Britain rather than that by Bering Straits from Western Asia. color of the inhabitants of the latter being much, and in some cases altogether, like that of the Indians themselves, while the inhabitants of northern Europe, according to early history, had long been noted for whiteness of skin, and just such fair silken hair as is discovered in the American mummies. The Indians universally disclaim our ancient works and monuments which we attribute to the Aborigines, and allege that these works were erected by white people. So before the Indians, there was people who built the mounds, and probably even going back another two. I personally think that there's like 4 generations under so if we dig down places in this country, the big cities anyway. San Francisco, St. Louis, and Chicago, New York. There's some maps that isn't that other switch over. Yeah. Probably. I might have to see if I some map. Man. Okay. You just do that. I didn't realize I could do that. It's cool. Show anything now. Don't even need that. Man, these don't have the resolution I need on them.